Hello, fellow founders. I'm Wesley Fogel, and the next of my top 10 ways for you to raise the first £150,000 for your startup is crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is an art that you'll need to master, and it takes time. In short, through your core digital marketing channels, that's email, social media, and website, you've got to build a strategy of engaging your audience and growing that audience from the people closest to you to the people less close and increasingly beyond your scope of existing contacts. The reason for doing this is that you're trying to create what is called a positive feedback loop. Now, what's a positive feedback loop? Think of yourself at the start of your fundraising journey as someone on a lonely field dancing all by yourself. Then one person comes to dance with you. Maybe that person is known to you already. You're suddenly doubling the number of people dancing on a lonely field. This will then make it easier to attract a third person to come and dance with you. And now you're suddenly 3 people dancing in the field. This suddenly sparks an ability to create a following. And before you know it, you're 50 people all dancing together. And what started as one lonely person on a field becomes an almost uncontrollable riot. This is the positive feedback loop that you want to create, and it's this that is the secret to a successful crowdfunding campaign. Start small, start close, but gradually increase your circle of influence. This will effectively avoid someone who joins the crowd from deciding to leave, as you're effectively saying to them, look, this is already happening. You don't have to invest much to join the party, but the more people that do, the more that we will all benefit. And there's never a bad time to run a crowdfunding campaign. If you believe you have a strong value proposition that will appeal to a wide part of society, then you have the ingredients for a classic, successful crowdfunding campaign. However, if you've also got a value proposition that appeals to a high-value customer, then you'll equally be seen as a good crowdfunding candidate. In recent years, there's been a far wider range of projects posted on crowdfunding sites, given the growing popularity of private investing, perhaps a legacy of all those Bragg and Den shows. A common crowdfunding strategy is to first secure some interest towards your target fundraising amount. So if you're looking to raise £150,000 and you've secured commitments of £70,000 to £90,000, perhaps from some of the categories described previously, you can try to close out your round through a crowdfunding campaign. This approach works because crowdfunding platforms will typically not allow a startup to be listed until they've got closer to around 70% of their target funding amount committed. One way of getting around this, even if you're nearer to around 30 or 40% of your target committed, is to communicate to potential larger investors who may be sitting on the sidelines how you plan to use a crowdfunding campaign to close out the round. Turning a funding round into a campaign will show your potential investors how you will benefit from the free marketing exposure and further momentum that this brings to your business. So if you're struggling to get beyond 30 to 40% of your target, you might want to consider starting to engage potential investors and crowdfunding platforms to explain to them both your strategy to close out your round. This is often why crowdfunding campaigns typically overfund, which means you can end up raising more than your target amount. Now, you can find out more from my full fundraising course at wesleyfogel.com, and I look forward to sharing my next top tip.